We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
What's up, beautiful collectors and action figure fans? It's the one and only Off the Bottom is coming with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Ghostbusters Plasma Series, Peter Venkman. With the new movie coming out, we're getting brand new figures from the folks over at Hasbro. Previously, it was Mattel, and most recently, Diamond Select. And in my personal opinion, the Diamond Select ones look like crap, and I never got them. The Matty Collector ones, while not the best looking, they were the best looking at the time. There's a lot of other problems that plagued the Matty Collector line, but that's all over with. Hasbro has these guys, and they are looking fantastic. For the package, it kind of looks like the jumpsuit here. You got like a little zipper sort of looking thing right here. You have the open window. Ghostbusters got the No Ghost logo right there. Come around to the side. You got a really cool image, like artistically, of the four of them. Come around to the other side, and it's just got like some diagram stuff. Come around to the back of the package, and it says, "The man with the mouth. Peter can convince almost anybody of almost anything." And you can see all the figures, and when you collect them, each of them comes with a Build-A-Figure piece that allows you to build Vince Clortho as he appears in his dog form. But for the packaging on Peter, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Dr. Peter Venkman open up and out of his packaging. And this guy looks great. Now, while I was really big in the Matty Collector Ghostbuster line, as I said, the Diamond Select ones really didn't appeal to me. I think I got 2 of them, and then after that just lost interest because the likenesses weren't really good. The detail was great, but to me, they just vaguely look like the characters they were supposed to be. And to me, that wasn't worth it. This guy, though, looks really good. That's not to say that I don't have a couple qualms. Obviously, we'll get into those here in a little bit, but starting off first with his accessories, as you can see, well, if it focuses, here we have the Terror Dog leg. Specifically, this is the left leg for Vince Clortho. Really nice detail throughout it. You can see it has that very charcoal black sort of color. A lot of wrinkles, a lot of molded in detail. You got some nice ugly toes down here. It's going to be a fairly articulated piece, as you got a shoulder section here, you got a knee section, also have an ankle, so there's going to be a lot of articulation in this. Obviously, we'll take a look at this when we put it all together, but there's Vince's leg. He also does come with a couple other accessories. First up, he does come with a ghost trap. This is really nice. The detail on here is really well done. Coming in to take a closer look at it, you got some nice red sections right here, nice silver paint. The top has the little warning strip, which looks good. Opposite side here has some more silver. Molding wise, it does a really good job of looking the way that a trap should look. Like that's a little dial right there. It's a little vent. You look at this. Those changed colors depending on the movie that they were in. And then again, nice silver. The only thing I really wish they might have painted would put a little bit of a orange or red bit right there on the tip. But overall, really nice. You can see that it's fairly hollow though. One part that I'm kind of disappointed in with this, and like I said, it's not a perfect figure. There's a couple bits that I think could have been done better, but there's no place to actually attach this. Like you got a little hole section right here, which works for the Ray figure, but none of the other figures I don't think had that, or maybe Egon, I don't remember. But it would have been nice if they put something there where you could have hooked that on. It's not a deal killer by any stretch. I just wish that was on there so you could have stored that some way. And he also does come with his proton pack. Now, this is one of the nicest proton packs that we've ever gotten. It could use some extra paint detail on it, but molding wise, it looks great. And the nice thing, it can also remove. You detach this piece right here, get this arm kind of out of the way. It pegs into the back of them, so there's a couple different ways to kind of peg it in there so it's fairly secure, and then you just slide that up just like that. I'm going to set Dr. Venkman off to the back here and take a closer look at this, but really very, very nice. You got the green straps coming around here, which does a good job of looking the way that it should. When that goes on there, I like how that kind of fits with the rest of it. So it's looking like it's all one piece and doesn't have a bit there that separates. But really, again, really nice. There's a good dry brush on there, some nice silver detail, some nice red for the wires, blue, you got some silver bits. I do kind of, this is a little bit warped out of the package to kind of fix that. I wish that this would peg in here a little bit better. It stays in, but you really got to push it in there to get it to stay on. But it looks nice. It does a fantastic job. Now later on you're going to see that one other little bit that's a nice little touch is on the little round bit here. Each different character has a different section lit up. So the top right here is Peter's. Another one will be the top left, bottom right. But overall really very nice. You got a wire here. It's not a bendy wire, but it's fairly flexible so that you can get them to hold it. And then you look at the Neutrona wand. Again, really nice detail with the black. You got some silver bits added on there. In general, it does a great job. Like I said, is it the best looking Proton Pack? Probably not. When you look at the Matty Collector one, there's a little bit more painted detail, but sculpt wise, it definitely wins in my opinion. Now coming in to take a look at, take a closer look at Dr. Peter Venkman. Starting off first with the portrait, because as I said, one of the reasons why I didn't like that Diamond Select series was they didn't look like the characters. To me, this is probably the best looking representation of Bill Murray that we've gotten in terms of an action figure form. They nailed it all the way down. Like, the biggest thing that I see is it's his head shape. It's kind of more bulbous towards the top and then it tapers as it comes in. That's how his head was. I mean, a lot of it is kind of like the bushy hair, but it has it. The only part that I wish was a little bit better was a little bit more real texturing done to the skin color. Well, I shouldn't say texture, but the skin tone I wish was a little bit darker just to give it a little bit more real look. But the likeness looks great. It even has this little smirk on there, which I think looks amazing. Rest of the outfit looks really good. I do wish this was a little bit darker. I think that's a slight inconsistency. Again, when I bring in the Matty Collector ones, you'll see a slight difference there. I like the No Ghost logo there. Of course, you got Venkman's name tag right on that section. One thing's really very nice is that you can see that he's double jointed at the elbow, and the way where they put the elbow pad works really nicely. But what I also really like that they did, slight attention to detail, is this obviously has a gray bit that has a strap that's going to go all the way around. That's how the elbow pad stays on there. They painted the inside bit right there on the joint. That's a really nice attention to detail that really does speak to the quality level of this plasma series. That looks fantastic. Take a look at his belt. You got his little walkie-talkie bit right there. A couple other little bits that hang off. Again, I wish there was a way. I mean, you can see that it's a separate piece. So I do wish there was a way they could have somehow got this trap to attach. I guess maybe you could just take the handle and wedge it up under there, I guess. I don't know. It's a little unfortunate, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Taking a look at the pants, great detail with that. You got some pockets and everything. The other thing that's really nice is that Peter actually was one of the ones that wore his pants on the outside of his boots. So it's a long sort of pant leg. They recreated that very nicely. Really very, very happy with how this is. Now, taking a look at some for comparison, I got several here, and I'm gonna forget which ones are which. First off, this is the Courtroom Battle Peter. This is from Ghostbusters 2. You have the, this is the one where his backpack can be removed. This is, let me get him to stand decent. This was a later release by Matty Collector, but you have that. This is the original release by Matty Collector with the backpack that is permanently attached. And then I want to say this was a San Diego Comic-Con one or some kind of a convention exclusive. It's the slimed version of him. So it's got a little bit of goop on his ears. His hair's a little bit different, and then it's kind of slimed on the body itself. Overall wise, in terms of the scale, it always all works, which is nice because I have a lot of other figures that I want to use with these figures for a display that specifically came from Addy Collector, and you can't really use ones that are smaller if you want to scale them with this. So it's nice that the scale kind of works. They're all roughly the same. But as you can see, the original suits are a little bit darker in terms of the color. I think that's a little bit better. Obviously, his is much different, but I feel like the skin tone for him is a little bit better. I just think it looks a little bit nicer, I think. And then when you look at the shape of the head, I just think that the shape of this one is far better. I don't know. I know it's probably personal preference, honestly, but all these, this head, these heads are all the same. The slight paint differences. His is a little bit different because the hair is molded differently, but I do think his is the better looking. Now, taking a look at the backpack, let's look at let's look at the original one first. You can see that one of the biggest difference is the size. This is a very small backpack. That does not look right, if you ask me. This is a bigger backpack that does look more accurate, but you can see you got a lot more paint on there with the wires and such. So I would have liked to have seen some of those extra paint details put on this one, especially since this is a smaller backpack and this being bigger should have more of those details. I also like how this one has the little wire bit right here. That is not present on the new one. That is just the little nozzle right there. So it is what it is. Now, the thing that I like about this guy as well is that his backpack is removable. That is a nice piece. Originally with Addy Collector, these were all permanently attached. One of the things that pissed me off about Addy Collector was that they decided they wanted to potentially do a scaled Ecto 1 for this line. But to do that, they were going to have to do new figures that have removable backpacks that could fit in the Ecto 1. So they did a whole pre-order special thing where you'd have to pre-order, and if the pre-order got enough, then it would go forward. But the figures would only be made with the removable backpacks if that Ecto got fully funded. That Ecto never got fully funded, yet they still released these figures, which pissed me off, because if you're like, we can only do these figures if we have an Ecto to put them in, and then they still do the figures despite the fact not getting the Ecto, you were just dicking us. That's all it was. And that's one of the things about the Addy Collector line that really pissed me off. The long and short of it was they lied, and that really aggravated me. Now, first articulation, the head here is on a ball joint, so you get a nice range of motion with that. Kind of wiggles and waggles, looks up and down, all that stuff. The shoulders here are on pin hinge joints, so you can hinge them out and then rotate them all the way around. They do have a rotation at the very upper part of the bicep, almost to the point where it's the shoulder, but you can rotate that around. As I said, you do have two bends at the elbow for a real nice deep range of motion. You can get the hand all the way up there to the hair, which is fantastic. The hands do rotate, and then they hinge up and down, so they're like this, so you can get them holding the Neutrono on really easily. The waist section here appears to be a bit of a ball joint, so you can get a rotation and then a little bit of forward and back. The hips move forward and back, in and out. They also rotate at the thigh. You do have two bends at the knee as well. Does look a little bit weird because of that big giant joint, but it still looks good. And then the ankles do have that weird rocker, and then they also move forward and back. You also have peg holes on the bottom in case you need anything. And then, as you can see, in terms of putting this on, you're going to want to detach this, slide this over and around his arm, bring this down. Then you want to make sure that you put that post into his back, squeeze that all the way in as far as you can. That'll give you enough space to pull this fairly tight and then tab that in there. Absolutely great. And then again, you can take the Neutrono wand, have him hold this in this hand. Both of them have trigger finger hands, which is nice. Fight with that a little bit. There we go. And then that popped down. So there we go. Just slide that right back down there. So there's that. And now you have Dr. Peter Venkman looking fantastic. That really is a cool figure. Really happy with him. I think that Hasbro did a tremendous job with this guy. For me, it's worth picking up. If you are a fan of Ghostbusters, to me, this is the best looking line that we've gotten in terms of the main line characters. And of course, you get the bonus of getting a Build-A-Figure. So, hey, not bad. So without a doubt, guys, I would recommend picking him up. Unlike the real Ghostbuster line from Hasbro, the Plasma series is going to be available at mass retail. So you'll be able to find them anywhere, including online, at places like Big Bad Toy Store. So for that, and to make it really easy on yourself, I'll put a link right down in the video description where you can go to BBTS and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Ghostbuster figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you would do one small thing for me, and that's simply just to hit that thumbs up button. That one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, I want to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons, who through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.